Becky Lynch has once again stirred up the wrestling world following her big win at WWE Evolution 2, and this time it's her words that have people talking as much as her in-ring performance. At Evolution 2, Lynch defended her Women's Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. It was a hard-hitting contest and arguably the match of the night, maybe only rivaled by the intense showdown between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. After the dust settled and Lynch stood tall with her title still in hand, she wasted no time making waves with a bold post-match statement that reminded everyone exactly who she thinks she is, the man and, in her words, the greatest to ever do it. In a backstage interview with Kathy Kelly, Becky took a moment to reflect on her journey, one that began a decade ago on the main roster. She pointed out that this match came exactly 10 years to the day since her call-up, and in that time, she's gone from underdog to household name. Becky didn't hold back as she revisited those early days when nobody saw her as a future star, let alone a main eventer. She explained that she was constantly counted out, labeled a good hand, someone reliable but not headline material. Yet through perseverance, hard work, and relentless grit, she carved her path, shutting down doubters at every turn. And then, she said it, the line that turned heads and fueled online debate. "I'm the greatest of all time," she declared. Not only did she back it up with her personal conviction, but she also pointed to validation from major outlets like Sports Illustrated. Becky rattled off her resume with confidence: 7-time Women's World Champion, Royal Rumble winner, and one of the 3 women who main event WrestleMania for the first time in history. That night, she proved it again by taking down 2 of the best women in the business. She even called herself the dirtiest female wrestler of all time, a spin on Ric Flair's legendary moniker, and stated it wasn't just her opinion, it was supported by wrestling media. It's hard to argue with Becky's resume, and her win at Evolution only further cements her place at the top of the current women's division. Naomi may have captured the Women's World Championship, and Tiffany Stratton retained her title in a fierce battle, but Becky's win kept her strong as a centerpiece of the division. Her performance and attitude have left people wondering what's next, especially with SummerSlam fast approaching. Looking ahead, it's clear that Becky's rivalry with Bayley isn't entirely finished. While Lyra Valkyria was added into the Evolution match as more of a side piece to spice things up, the real story continues to be between Becky and Bayley. Lyra already has a win over Becky and a loss, making her position feel like it's already run its course. But with Bayley, there's still something unresolved. Their rivalry hasn't had the kind of definitive moment or conclusive ending that most top-level feuds receive. Consider the Raw match they had. It ended flat, lacking the kind of fireworks people expect from 2 of the top names in the business. Becky's win there felt more like a cheap victory than a full-on triumph. That kind of booking often leaves room for a rematch, and with SummerSlam less than 3 weeks away, the timing is perfect for a final chapter between them. It would be easy for WWE to revisit this rivalry and add a new twist or stipulation to keep things fresh. Bayley is as over with the crowd as she's ever been. Fans love her in her current babyface role, and she brings just as much credibility and excitement to a marquee match as Becky does. Putting them in a match with higher stakes, maybe even headlining one of the SummerSlam nights, isn't out of the question. It wouldn't be shocking to see WWE frame their rematch with added tension, maybe even with a stipulation that raises the stakes, like Bayley only getting a shot at the Intercontinental title under certain conditions, or something that makes the match feel like a can't-miss event. As of now, Becky is still waiting on her next challenger to step up. WWE teased that a new opponent would be revealed on the upcoming episode of Raw, but there's still a strong possibility that Bayley's not done yet, and honestly, that wouldn't be a bad call. The chemistry is there, the history is rich, and with the right build-up, they could deliver a top-tier program heading into one of the biggest shows of the year. Even one more match between them would bring solid storytelling, strong promos, and hard-hitting action. Becky and Bayley both know how to sell a feud and make each moment count. Meanwhile, the rest of the SummerSlam card is taking shape. We already know a few of the tentpole matches. John Cena is set to face Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship in what will likely headline Night 2. Jelly Roll is teaming up with Randy Orton to take on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul in a high-profile tag match that's sure to draw eyes. Gunther is scheduled to have his next challenger determined in a gauntlet match, which should be a banger in its own right. Still, with all of that happening, there's room for a women's match to take the spotlight, especially if it involves Becky Lynch. A Becky vs. Bayley Intercontinental title match, especially if it gets the right build and perhaps a match stipulation, could absolutely headline Night 1 or serve as a co-main event. It checks all the boxes: star power, long-term rivalry, high-stakes championship, and would give WWE a great way to showcase the strength of the women's division. The bigger question is what direction WWE takes Becky and once this chapter closes. Since returning, Becky has really only had two consistent dance partners, Lyra and Bayley. While those feuds have been compelling, there's a locker room full of talent on Raw that could benefit from mixing it up with the man. There are plenty of underutilized or rising stars who could benefit greatly just from being in a program with someone as established as Becky Lynch. WWE doesn't even have to have Becky lose her title to build new stars. Just putting them in the ring with her, giving them mic time and spotlight segments, can elevate their stock immensely. Becky's presence alone is enough to give credibility to younger or mid-card talent. That's the benefit of having a figure like her in the division. She brings attention, legitimacy, and storytelling possibilities that few others can. And it's not only about putting over younger talent. There's still unfinished business with names like Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and even Charlotte Flair down the line. Revisiting those rivalries with a new lens, especially now that Becky holds a title again, could result in some incredible storytelling. Imagine a title versus title match, or a champion versus champion feud with Becky and another top-tier woman. Those possibilities are wide open if WWE chooses to go in that direction. In the short term though, all signs point toward Becky and Bayley having one more go, whether that's a stipulation match, a steel cage, a no DQ showdown, or even a simple one-on-one with a clean finish. It's a fitting next step. They haven't had the definitive match yet, and with Evolution 2 behind them and SummerSlam ahead, it's the perfect time to do it. The crowd is behind both of them, they both have momentum, and the story writes itself at this point. No matter what WWE ends up booking, there's one thing that's certain: Becky Lynch is a main event player, a proven draw, and someone who adds serious value to every show she's on. Whether she's opening the show, closing it, or working with a fresh face or a longtime rival, she commands attention. Her recent comments may ruffle feathers, but they also show the confidence and edge that made her a fan favorite in the first place. She's not backing down, not playing it safe, and definitely not shying away from controversy. She's staking her claim and letting everyone know that as long as she's around, the women's division has a heartbeat. And if WWE is smart, they'll capitalize on it. Becky Lynch is a once-in-a-generation star, and her current run, while perhaps flying a little under the radar, has the potential to be one of her best. With the right booking, right opponents, and the continued push that she deserves, WWE can make this IC title run feel just as important as any world title. And even if she eventually does drop the belt, whoever stands across from her will be better for it. That's the power of Becky Lynch, and that's why she just might be right when she calls herself the greatest of all time. After winning the AEW World Championship in 2022, MJF faced doubts from fans who questioned whether his in-ring performance could match his impressive promo skills. However, during his title reign, he silenced many critics by proving that he could deliver high-quality matches and stand among AEW's top wrestling talents. Despite that, MJF recently shared a surprising perspective on the Masked Man show, openly admitting that he actually dislikes wrestling itself. He explained that while he's undeniably skilled at it, wrestling is his least favorite part of being a professional wrestler. According to him, it's simply the way he was made, exceptionally talented by nature. If it were up to him, every match would last just a few seconds. Reflecting on his physically demanding matches, including Iron Man bouts against top-tier competitors like Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay, MJF noted that he didn't choose those situations but still emerged victorious regardless. He emphasized that his main goal in wrestling isn't to put on classic technical performances but to win, plain and simple. For MJF, the concept of work rate doesn't hold much value. He sees wrestling primarily as a business and believes that discussing it as an art form is irrelevant to his objectives. At just 29, MJF described himself as a rare talent, a young genius, and one of the most complete performers in wrestling history. To him, success is about dominating the industry, and he's doing just that.